All right, so we're taking a deep dive into this Apple TV Plus free weekend deal. We've got two sources here.
Yeah.
One is a press release directly from Apple TV Plus Bandtown, and then also this article from the Associated Press.
Yeah.
That kind of takes a deep dive into, what might be the strategy behind offering this free content.
Okay.
So it's free weekend, no strings attached, right in the middle of the holidays. So is Apple just feeling generous, or is there something a little bit more to this story?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, on the surface, it seems like, wow, what a great deal. But the AP article really dives into the business side of it.
Yeah.
And, Apple TV Plus has been kind of lagging behind in the streaming wars. They've got an estimated 25 million subscribers.
Sure.
Compared to, Netflix, which is over 280 million. So this free weekend, it's not just, holiday cheer. It's a calculated move to try and grab some of that market share.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So if it's a calculated business move, why a free weekend? Why not just extend a free trial or offer a discount? What makes this strategy so special?
Yeah, so that 2-day window, I think that's really clever. It creates the sense of urgency. It's like, okay, you got 48 hours to binge Ted Lasso, see what Silo's all about, or catch up on the morning show. It's enough time to get a taste, enough time to get hooked, but not enough to, really satisfy the binge-watching urge. So they're hoping that, you'll come to the end of that weekend and be like, wait a minute, I need more. And that's when they hit you with that subscription button.
So it's almost like a strategic loss leader then. They're willing to take a hit in the short term,
right,
by giving away this content for free. But the idea is that it will lead to gains in the long term by getting all these new subscribers. It's a pretty big gamble, though, right?
Absolutely, it is a gamble. And it's a gamble that other streaming services are making, too. I mean, remember when HBO Max did that, 50% off deal? Or when Peacock launched with a bunch of free content? So Apple's not the first to do this. But it is interesting to see how they're playing this game.
Yeah, it seems like every streaming service has to offer something like this to stay competitive. But I'm curious, what makes Apple's approach unique? They're not the first to offer free trials or promotions. So what are they doing that's maybe a little different?
Well, I think one thing that stands out is the timing. Right in the middle of the holidays, when people are already, maybe in a spending mood, they're with their families, they have some downtime, they're looking for things to watch together. It's just a really smart time to do this.
Makes sense. And I noticed in the press release, they're also really emphasizing the quality of their content. They highlight the Emmy-winning shows like Ted Lasso and these critically acclaimed series like Severance, and then a whole bunch of new releases that are coming out. So they're really pushing that idea of, we've got this premium content. We're not just some, bargain basement streaming service.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to attract that discerning audience. And the AP article also mentioned the data collection aspect. So every show you watch, how long you watch it, what genres you're into, Apple's collecting all of that information. And that's valuable data for any business, especially in the streaming world.
That data is gold.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're taking this short-term hit by offering the free weekend, but they're hoping to gain valuable insights into what viewers want. And of course, the ultimate goal is to convert those freebie lovers into paying subscribers down the line.
Right. And it's not just about subscribers. They're also trying to build brand awareness. Even if someone doesn't subscribe right away, maybe they have a positive experience with Apple TV plus HICWAS. And that sticks with them. It's all part of that, long-term brand loyalty that Apple is known for.
So it's a long game. They're playing the long game here, trying to build a loyal customer base, gather valuable data, and gain a foothold in this super competitive streaming market. It's a pretty ambitious play, but it's also a risky one. What do you think are some of the potential downsides here? What could go wrong for Apple?
That's a great question. I mean, one risk is that they could devalue their service. If people get used to getting Apple TV Plus for free, they might be less willing to pay for it later. It's kind of like giving away free samples all the time. You might hook some new customers initially, but you could also create this perception that your product isn't really worth paying for.
Yeah, that's a good point. So they have to be careful to strike that balance between attracting new viewers and maintaining the perceived value of their content.
Yeah.
But what about the financial side of things? I mean, they're giving away their product for free for 2 whole days. That has to impact their bottom line, right?
Absolutely. It's a calculated risk for sure. They're essentially betting that the long-term gains from new subscribers will outweigh those short-term costs.
Yeah. So it all comes down to weighing the potential rewards against those potential risks.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the immediate profit. It's about, building a brand, establishing a position in a rapidly evolving market. It's a long game.
Exactly. And it'll be interesting to see how this strategy plays out for Apple in the coming months. Will this free weekend translate into a surge in subscribers
Yeah.
and a stronger financial position for Apple TV plus HD Pass, or will it fall short of their expectations?
Yeah, time will tell. But this is definitely a bold move. And I think it has the potential to really shake things up in the entire streaming industry.
Agreed. All right, so we've unpacked the motivation behind this free weekend and explored the potential risks and rewards for Apple. Now let's shift gears a little bit and take a closer look at the specific content they're showcasing. What do you think?
Sounds good. Let's dive in.
So they're really going all out with this free weekend, huh? I mean, the selection of content is pretty interesting. They're highlighting those big hitters, of course, Ted Lasso, the morning show Silo. But they're also pushing some of their, lesser-known shows.
Yeah, that's true. I noticed that they're really highlighting their sci-fi stuff. Foundation for All Mankind. Even Dark Matter, which I don't know if you remember, but that got some pretty mixed reviews.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. It's kind of a risky move to put a show like that front and center, especially during a free weekend when they're trying to make a good first impression. But I guess it makes sense. If they're trying to cultivate a specific audience, maybe they see sci-fi fans as an untapped market.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to position themselves as the go-to streaming service for sci-fi. Kind of like how HBO is known for its prestige dramas, or how Disney Plus has the whole Marvel and Star Wars thing going on.
Right, exactly. They're carving out their own niche. And I noticed they're also really leaning into that star power. The press release mentions Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, Harrison Ford, even John Hamm is in one of their new movies.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely not shying away from those big names. It's like they're saying, hey, look at all these A-listers we've got.
It's a smart move. Star power still matters. Even in the age of streaming, it's a way to cut through all the noise and grab people's attention.
For sure. But it's interesting what's not there, too. I didn't see any mention of reality shows, which seems like kind of a missed opportunity. I mean, those are huge for other platforms.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they're saving that for paying subscribers, kind of like a bonus. Or maybe they just don't see reality TV as part of their brand identity.
Yeah, it seems like they're really focused on that high-quality scripted content.
Right.
And I also noticed that nothing seems particularly edgy or controversial.
Right. It's all very safe, very mainstream, which again makes sense for a free weekend. They want to appeal to the widest possible audience.
Yeah, you don't want to turn people off before they even have a chance to see what you're all about.
Exactly.
So it's a mix of familiar favorites, some promising new releases, and a few strategic gambles here and there. What do you think? Are they hitting the right notes to attract a wide audience?
I think it's a pretty calculated mix. They're definitely showcasing their strengths, but they're also experimenting a little, trying to see what resonates with viewers.
Yeah, and let's not forget, this isn't just about entertainment. It's about business. The content they choose to highlight during this free weekend could have a direct impact on their bottom line.
Absolutely. I mean, if a show like Silo takes off, that could lead to more seasons, more merchandise, maybe even spin-offs.
Right. And on the flip side, if something flops during this free window, they might reconsider investing in it further.
It's a high-stakes game, for sure.
So we've got the business strategy, the content selection, the data analysis. It's all connected.
It's like a giant puzzle.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out how the pieces fit together.
And this free weekend is a big piece of that puzzle.
Exactly. It's a chance for Apple to make a statement, to show the world that they're a serious player in the streaming wars.
Okay, so we've explored the content, the strategy, the potential risks and rewards. But this free weekend is just one piece of a much bigger story. What does it all mean for the future of streaming? And how will it impact us as viewers? That's what we're going to talk about next. So we've talked about Apple's strategy with this free weekend and kind of like broken down their content lineup. But let's zoom out for a second, think about the bigger picture. Like, what could this mean for the future of streaming?
Yeah, the AP article made a good point about this. It's not just Apple doing this. It's like Hulu, Peacock, even HBO Max. They're all experimenting with these free trials, discounts, promotional offers. It's getting pretty competitive out there.
Yeah, it's not even just about getting new subscribers anymore, right? It's about keeping the ones you have.
Exactly. And I think Apple's move here, it could really shake things up. Like, what if this free weekend is a huge success and they get a ton of new subscribers? You think other platforms are just going to sit back and watch?
Probably not. So you're saying we might see more of these free access windows in the future?
I think it's definitely a possibility. Imagine like every other weekend, there's some streaming service giving away free content.
I mean, on the one hand, that sounds great for us as viewers, right? More free stuff to watch.
Yeah, totally. But it could also get kind of overwhelming. Like, imagine constantly being bombarded with these authors. It might be hard to even decide what to watch.
Yeah.
And then, there's the whole financial side of things.
Right. These streaming companies can't just give away their content forever.
Exactly. They're taking a gamble, hoping that these free weekends will pay off in the long run, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah. The big question is, will those freebie lovers actually become paying subscribers down the line?
Right. That's the real challenge for these streaming companies.
And it's not just about the money either. I think this whole free access trend could have a big impact on the kind of content we see.
How so?
Think about it. If these streaming services are constantly trying to hook viewers in a short amount of time.
Like with this 48-hour window?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They might start to focus more on making shows that are, super binge-worthy.
Shows with lots of cliffhangers and those can't miss moments that keep you glued to the screen.
Right. Because they know they only have a limited time to grab your attention.
It's all about that instant gratification.
And of course, let's not forget about the data collection. Every time we watch something, every click, every pause, every rewind, it's all being tracked and analyzed.
Yeah, it's a little creepy when you think about it.
It is, but it's also kind of the price we pay for convenience. We get access to all this amazing content, but these companies get to collect our data.
And use it to target us with even more content and ads.
It's a trade-off.
For sure.
It's fascinating how this one, Move by Apple, this free weekend, could have such a ripple effect across the whole streaming industry.
Yeah. It's a reminder that things are constantly changing and evolving.
So what do you think? Where do we go from here?
I don't know. It's hard to predict the future, but it's going to be interesting to watch how this all plays out.
Yeah, no doubt. Will these free access promotions become the norm? Will they lead to more innovation? Or will they just create a race to the bottom?
Only time will tell.
All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about Apple's strategy behind this free weekend, the potential impact on the streaming industry, and what it all means for us as viewers. It's a lot to think about.
It is.
So as you enjoy your free weekend of Apple TV plus Juicy Feel, I encourage you to keep all of this in mind. Think about the business decisions, the creative choices, and the implications for the future of entertainment. This deep dive has given you the knowledge. Now it's your turn to draw your own conclusions. Enjoy the shows.